Just on a date with Faruzan. Nothing special.
Now, I have my suspicions about this archaeological expedition team and that machine wreckage. I only caught a quick glimpse, and it was from a distance. But based on the condition of the armor and joints, it didn't seem like something that had been... Yes, the timing... How do you suppose it was able... That's right. Technically speaking, the module shouldn't be able to move such a large machine chassis. However, I'm basing my knowledge on the mechanical life forms I've seen before. Well, this was over 100 years ago. It also helped me deliver letters home. I found it near the desert, which is why I wondered if there might be more restitution modules buried around here. Honestly, people in ancient times might have already solved the problem of providing enough power for all I know. Had I confronted Raid right there and then, if the wreckage were to be handed to the Academia, it'd be much tougher for us to do research on it or get spare parts for Karkata. Anyway, we should figure out what they're planning before making our next move. They insisted that we should stay the night, which means if they're trying to pull a fast one on us, they're likely to try tonight. We must be vigilant.
Okay.
Are those sounds coming from the excavation site? I knew they wouldn't be able to wait. They must be scared that we might discover something tomorrow. Not a single person guarding the campsite. This must be quite the manpower expenditure. I'll see if they left any clues behind at their camp. Keep watch and help me stall them if it comes to that, would you?
Sure.
All right. I'm counting on you.
Hey, yes. Alright. What's up?
Tent here yet. We need to switch it out tonight.
It's still on the way.
You good-for-nothings ought to hurry up and hide our curtain.
Huh? Who's there?
It's me.
I'm sorry. I'm just a bit upset because my subordinates aren't doing their jobs properly. When did you get here?
It's the delivery I hear you're having trouble with.
It's nothing. Just a tent. We didn't pack up all our tents from the last campsite. Some of them, along with a few people, have been left there. Someone damaged our current tent, so I'm trying to get my subordinates to get one from that previous campsite delivered here. The relics in the ruins are highly valuable, so I'm worried that treasure hoarders and bandits might try to steal them. Since the tent isn't here yet and I can't fall asleep, I came here to patrol. Well, these things are antiques after all. There will always be people interested in buying them. I hired so many people precisely because I was worried about that happening. Speaking of which, I'd like to ask, is the Academia really aware that you've traversed through the desert to come here in the middle of the night? Also, where's Faruzan? Why isn't she with you?
I'm right here. Also, you forgot to address me as Madam.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
Sorry, Madam Faruzan.
You were all making so much noise that I couldn't sleep, which is why I got the Traveler to find out what was going on. But for some reason, that one task took forever, so I came to check in on the situation.
I'm very sorry for disturbing your rest. I'll tell my subordinates to be quieter on patrol.
Good. Come on, Traveler. Let's head back.
Oh?
Yes, we came to check out the situation, didn't we? Well, we've already done that. We should get better rest so that we'll have energy to investigate tomorrow.
Alright. Okay. I think I've gone through all this. And the machine comes to life and stuff happens. Okay, I'm just gonna skip through this.
Thanks for dealing with them. I found something according to them. I also observed there's no doubt it could have fallen. However,
Of course.
last few pages of the it's just
Yeah, see, I've already done that.
Help!
Yeah, there we go. It came back to life.
Why are you running away?
What's that sound? The ruined wand? That's impossible! What?
Why is it chasing?
What could have caused it?
Darn it! Hey, come on, you lot! It's clip.
It stopped.
Hey, you guys.
But what if it's...
You. Looks like this thing's parts can't.
Disappointing, you say? Now, is that because you won't be able to sell it for much?
Farusan, you may be my senior as an academia researcher, but that doesn't mean you get to slander me.
You wrote these excavation records, did you not? Or perhaps calling it a ledger might jog your memory a bit better.
I.
Ahem. January 3rd, January 5th, through January 10th. One special tent pre-sold. It must quickly be switched out with an old tent. You're supposed to be an archaeological expedition team, and yet here you are, secretly selling the relics and profiting from it. When you believe that you, after all, that forced you to speed up your plan and you tried to...
I don't.
You lack the curiosity befitting a man of knowledge.
Ridiculous. Curiosity, respect.
Why is that happening?
I'm here to hear you preach. Hey,
Mr. Aid!
Behind you?
Why is it moving again? Run!
Watch out!
Some said that it was like a giant, while others...
Technically speaking, centuries. Impossible.
Why is it chasing it?
You've been looking for... Long time no see, Tamimi.
Ah, Tamimi, yes. Okay, yeah, this is where I was. Oh, okay. Sorry. That was a misclick.
Dear Farazan, I hope you're doing well. It has been over 20 years since you went missing. People from the academia keep telling us to give up and that you're most likely dead. But somehow, I feel like you're still alive. Yes, that you live still in some corner of this world. You've always been persistent, able to shine no matter what situation you face. I believe that this persistence serves you well in surviving and finding your way home. Unfortunately, I likely won't be able to welcome you home when you do. I don't have much time left, and my reflexes have slowed. Others keep telling me to stop exploring ruins. Only Tamimi is still the same as before, always running off to places which you've been to. Your teacher and friends came up with an idea to remodel Tamimi, so it can search for you in our place. You didn't like coming home back then, and would always get Tamimi to send a letter back. Now we're leaving a letter with Tamimi. I wonder will it ever be delivered to you? I don't know the answer to that question, but I regret not being able to say this to you myself.
But I'll still feel sincerely happy for you,
My
dear daughter.
Aww.
Welcome home, Farazan. Look at you, Tamimi. You've changed so much after all these years. Thank you for waiting for me all this time. I've safely received the letters. Your work is done now. You can sleep.
Wow.
Tamimi, the mechanical life form I encountered back then. When I would go on expeditions, it would follow me, take notes for me, and send my letters home. When I met with that accident, it was on the way to deliver a letter for me. I once thought that I'd never get to see it again. I didn't expect my teacher and other... And so, in order to Tamimi, which used to be incapable of even moving headwalls so I could deliver these last letters from them to me.
Still prayed for your safe return.
The strain to support such a huge body must have turned out to be too much for your heart, right?
Tamimi?
Even after the remodeling, its restitution module still can't function perfectly in perpetuity. It has been pushing itself beyond its limits over the past few decades. Just like a living being, mechanical life forms have a limited lifespan. It probably became trapped in the ruins all those years ago because its shelf life had run out. It most likely only reactivated because it detected my presence. And then it mustered up everything it had to deliver that last letter. Now, it can finally rest in peace. Tainari told you what happened to me, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize. It's not like this incident is a secret in the academia. Besides, I've always treated it as a failed experiment. As a researcher, I must accept this result. However, finding out that so many people were affected by my failure does make me feel somewhat conflicted. Can you head back to Pardis DI first?
Sure.
As for me, I want to stay with Tamimi for a bit longer.
Okay. See you later, babe. Okay, she's not in the right mind. I'm just gonna leave. Wait. Nope, that didn't work. Hold up. It should be, yeah. Okay, now it should work. Nah, okay, nah, it doesn't get close enough. Oh, sad Faruzan. It's cute. Yeah, okay. Alright, I'm good.
You're back!
Ah, how was your journey through the desert? Wait, what was Madame Farazan?
Oh god, I really don't like Tainari's voice. I don't like his new voice. It sounds so bad. I regret not playing this earlier. Whatever. Keep Tamimi a secret. Ah, not again.
You're back!
Ah,
Okay.
so Madame Farazan has some other things to settle. All right. And to think that Raid was doing all those things on the sly. It's good that you all got out of that situation in one piece.
Madame Farazan will be able to repair Karkata when she gets back, won't she?
Yeah. No fireflies. Alright, 1 day later. Guys, make it 1 day later.
welcoming party. Madame Farzad, we're over here. That's more like it. Now, here are some components I brought back from the desert. Switch these out with the ones Karkata is using right now, and it'll be back in ship shape.
So this is a relic of an ancient civilization. Unbelievable. Thankfully, it didn't end up in Raid's unscrupulous hands.
Wow, he sounds very dead.
Unscrupulous, huh? Sounds like you already told them what happened. Is that so? Thank you. We will talk about everything else later. It's nothing. I've already given all the evidence we have against Raid to the Academia. They're going to be very busy. Too busy to bother us, I'd wager. I'll start repairing Karkata then. Kale, can you help me out? Of course! It looks fine, but even so, it needs to properly rest up.
Farazan went out after repairing Karkata. She seems to be looking for you for some reason. Well, I will not probe any further. However, if you need any help, do feel free to ask.
You're here. Thank you for keeping Tamimi a secret.
I don't plan on telling them.
If I tell them about Tamimi, will they still feel happy for Karkata? Even if we could convince them to accept the components, they'll probably still feel bad about it. I don't want my past to affect people in the present. That applies to both me and other people. It's fine. I'm used to this. I once believed that I'd never hear from my old friends and family ever again. Even their faces are getting hazier in my memories. However, I could remember them clearly again after reading the letter Tamimi handed to me and learning that they'd never given up on me. That's more than enough. I'd be disappointing them if I let myself fall into a slump because of this. Neither my teacher nor my mother would have wanted to see me like that. Besides, you're lending a listening ear to me now, aren't you?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, Pardius DI looks pretty scenic at night. Will you take a stroll with me?
It would be my pleasure. Let us go.
Once Karkata's condition stabilizes, I'll find a chance to tell Tainari and Kale about all that. But for now, just help me keep this secret.
You got it.
Thank you. Whether it's 100 years ago or now, I have people who worry about me.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose I should consider myself quite fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
The only time when I felt otherwise was when I had just returned to Sumeru. No one came to check up on me then.
Ah. Welcome home, Farzan.
Yeah, I'm home.
Oh. Aren't you a cute little adorable grandma? Okay. So dramatic. Yeah, I'm saving this. Okay, next up, we have more where that came from. Okay, now there's one more. Gotta go back up. This is where I tell them the secret, and let's see what happens then. La 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 la.
You're back!
Ah, how was...
Oh no. She finally got to reunite with an old friend from 100 years ago.
As a researcher, she could perhaps accept it. However, as a friend, student, and a daughter, we should give her some time. Let's just wait for her here. And in the future, I hope that we can be here to support her as her new friends.
Tighnari sounds so different. I hate it. To be honest. It's just the nice, comforting words that make it sound nice. I don't like Tighnari's new VA. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I don't like his voice. It sounds so bad.
I'm back. What? Is there to be no welcoming party?
We've all been waiting for you, Madame Farazan.
That's more like it. Now, here are some components I brought back from the desert. Switch these out with the ones Karkata is using right now. I don't... Why do you all look so solemn? Come now. Liveliness befits youngsters more. Madame Farazan, did these parts come from... Come now. I thought that you must have encountered some major problem. This isn't something you have to worry about. Well, it looks like you already know everything. But no need to feel bad. Like I said before, as researchers, we must learn to accept our failures. Tamimi had been operating beyond capacity for a century, and I'm unable to repair it with my current abilities. Not even with these parts. It would thus be much better to use them to extend Karkata's lifespan. As a senior, it is only right that I do something for the people who come after me. That holds true for both researchers and machines. Besides, I didn't say that I would be giving you these parts for free. They will only be used for Karkata temporarily. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to help me with my research. I'll be sure to revive Tamimi once I've fully deciphered and replicated the creations of the ancient civilization.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. I'll do my best to help.
Me too. Although, I'm not sure if I'll be much help.
Yeah, I'll help too.
Thank you. If they could remodel Tamimi successfully even back then, there's no reason why we won't be able to do even better. And when that day comes, I'll be sure to say, welcome home, Tamimi.
Okay, this is much better. I like this. I like this a lot more. I like that a lot. That's a nice photo. Oh no, I'll take some really good photos. Okay, now this is the one that's gonna bother me a lot.
Smile every time I remember the look on my retainers.
Okay, so where do I go? Go here? Okay. Let's see what happens here. I don't remember.
What now? Master said there's no feel for that, but if I get her in trouble...
Problem parties the problem parties the
But if someone does, and if the Academe, do you have some way to invite her over to parties the eye without stepping on the Academia's toes? Okay then. Huh. Madame Farazan, we're... Well,
Please, Madame Farazan. Huh?
why, that lad... yeah.
Wait. Also, there is
A fully auto...
a fully autumn...
Precisely. I saw a similar...
A mechanism...
Fret not.
An official proposal. I'll go inform...
Sure. Phew. Even though this is a... Wow! Who knows? Huh? If I'm right.
Huh? Wait, did I took the wrong turn? Hold up. Where am I? Ah, shit. Nah, I took the wrong turn.
What now? Master said there'd be feel for back, but if I get her in
Okay, problem first.
That would, but I'm sure he'll say. Huh? Oh, so if I also stay and help...
Observe this. Okay, this is the one. We got it. We got it, boys.
I have to teach students from Harab. We're back, Madame Farazan. The Traveler said that she can stay and help you. Oh. Why, I couldn't ask for more. In fact, I'm rather curious about the type of person the Traveler is. You were the one who taught Azara a lesson after all. That said, will I be troubling you?
I specialize in solving problems, if that's what you're looking for.
That's so.
Oh, yes.
Good. It does so happen that I do have something I need help with.
Alright.
Now, should I apply to teach a course with Haravatat, or join the collaborative project that Kosharawar is proposing? Honestly, I don't want to choose either of them.
Okay, tell me more about the Haravatat
You
course.
might have heard of it before. Haravatat is an academic faction that researches languages and runes. 100 years ago, Madame Farazan was a researcher from that darshan.
Now, not was. Still am.
Yes, of course. But current Haravatat students can't really, understand her direction of research. So even if she opened a course, chances are that no one would attend.
Direction of research?
In summary, I mean to interpret the configurations and solutions of ruin mechanisms via the deciphering of on-site stone carvings and unearthed documents. It'll include research into general documents dealing with such ancient machines.
The research method is supported by Haravatat, yes, but the content deals heavily with both ruins and mechanisms. This will make it difficult for students of this darshan because they don't understand much about mechanisms. Also, there are fewer and fewer unexplored ruins left nowadays, and Kusharawar researchers have been developing their own theories on mechanisms.
They're far too complacent. Ancient mechanisms are more dangerous and complex than one might imagine. I'm telling you, things weren't like this 100 years ago. All researchers back then were interested in exploring knowledge from a variety of topics. They also gave more respect to unknown mechanisms. Nowadays, all people are interested in are mainstream subjects in popular research. Even if they attended my course, I wouldn't be interested in teaching them. Also, the people here think that my research is outdated and unrealistic, so they keep cutting my funding. Why, I think they could all stand to learn from Kale. She's a hard-working child and respects her elders. Huh? Why me? If only those who came to my lectures were more like you. Speaking of which, are you feeling better? You don't have to confine yourself to Gandharvaville anymore, right? I just remembered that I have a lot of studying to do. I need to head back and find Master.
Wait, I have an idea. Kale needs to learn how to read, and you need to teach a course.
Are you telling me to start a reading course for Kale?
Uh-huh.
Huh?
Oh yeah, that sounds
Wait.
nice.
Although Tainari has academic dealings with the academia, he isn't considered part of it. This means that Kale isn't technically a student.
Does she have to hold this class in the academia?
No, she's right. The old academia became consumed by their arrogance precisely because they ignored the public. There must surely be many people like Kale and Sumeru who are passionate about learning, but cannot study due to various reasons. The old academia paid no heed to them. But if I start a reading course for Kale as a pilot, perhaps this shall come to benefit many more people in the future.
I'll need to go back and ask if this is in accordance with regulations.
Oh, save yourself the extra trouble. I'll come with you. If there's any arguments to be had, we shall sweep them aside together. Traveler, Kale, do wait for us a little while outside the academia. I'll be back in just a moment.
Hey.
Wait! Let's catch up with her.
I'm gonna make you study. You think you can drag me into your shit? No. You're not running away anywhere. You're gonna.
I can't believe she rushed right in after we arrived. She's really headstrong. Oh, how did things turn out like this?
I'm quite scared of her.
No, not really. Madame Farazan is a brilliant scholar. Even Master thinks so. If she's really going to teach me how to read, it'll definitely be much better than me bashing my head against the wall.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It's just that she can get a bit too passionate sometimes. I don't know how to handle that.
The way she treats you?
Maybe it's because she wants to take me in as a student. It's just like that researcher said. The academia has completely changed during the 100 years that Farazan was gone. I don't really get it, but it does seem like Haravitat's students aren't optimistic about the prospects of doing research with her. Students who are interested in mechanisms and applications of the elements generally enroll in Kasharawar and Spontamod. Madame Farazan also refuses to accept random students just to make up numbers. She still hasn't found a student she likes, even after all this time back.
So she's a teacher with no students.
But she seems to like my attitude toward learning, so she often asks me if I'm willing to become her student. It's because I'm a slow learner that I have no choice but to stay up late and study. Whenever she compliments me, I feel really guilty.
She's asking you to become her student. Because...
It's not that. Madame Farazan respects my choices. She hasn't been trying to persuade me, especially since she knows I need to rest and recuperate. She sometimes brings food to Gandharvaville for me. And each time, she says that Master can't find out.
sounds like something a grandmother might do for her granddaughter. Ah!
Now that you mention it does feel a bit like that. Do I really look that young?
Yeah. You're a cute little tiny tuner.
Kale, Traveler, thank you for waiting. The issue has been resolved.
Well, that was quick.
I argued with the higher-ups and convinced them of the practicality and necessity of educating the general public. If I'm not mistaken, they're the students of my classmates' students. They're a lot less forceful than their predecessors, though. I'd say they caved rather quickly. Amazing.
Or were they coerced?
It's just that we need to fill in every single page of the application. It's been a century, but the academia is as picky as ever. Let's see now. What do we need to fill in? Course name, learning objectives, teaching methods, course materials. I suppose we can fill in the course name last. That's a bit too general, I'd say. After all, this class's target audience isn't toddlers or children, but rather people who already know the basics of reading. As such, we'll need a more specific learning objective. How about proficiency in reading and writing? That's true. If we use children's teaching materials, we'll only end up wasting a lot of time on things that students would already know. And you have your job as a forest ranger, Kale. People who attend this course in the future are also likely to have life commitments. We need more effective teaching methods.
Other than teaching materials for children, no other.
Master always tells me that practice is the best way to learn. That's why I often ask him to help me find simple books to read. It must have been difficult to get books in Sumeru in recent years, no? Tainari really went the extra mile for you. Expanding literacy is a capital notion. Now that the academia is easing restrictions on the circulation of books, there should be more people who have become interested in reading. It's a great time to conduct this course.
So we've got teaching methods sorted out. How do we choose our course materials then?
So that's next on the list. I fear that I'm at a loss as to which books youngsters like nowadays. Would The Legend of Antara be too old of a story?
I do not want to say that.
Fair. Kale, what have you been reading lately? Me? I've been reading light novels from Inazuma. I heard that ever since we were allowed to sell books in Sumeru again, some people set up stalls at Treasure Street to sell light novels. I've been meaning to go there and check it out. Light novels? This is my first time hearing about such a thing, but I doubt I will procure suitable teaching materials from the House of Dana. Treasure Street it is. Wait for us, Madame Farazan.
Oh, she's gonna like light novels.
Her is over 100. Let's pick up the pace and catch up to her. What a long and mildly ungrammatical title. And why is the cover so colorful?
Is this your first time seeing a light novel, man? Oh, they're the most popular books nowadays. Would you like me to recommend something?
Fine. One shouldn't judge a book by its cover after all. Maybe browse through the books here.
Of course. Why don't you try this one? It's Outlander Brigade, When the Wind of Death Blew Towards the Blonde Samurai.
I heard that this book's author describes action in vivid detail.
Uh-huh. Blonde Samurai. Oh, I wonder who that could be.
Now, I've only skimmed through a few pages, but it feels like it's all fight scenes. There are only subjects and predicates, and the syntax is a tad simple. Subjects? Predicates? The protagonist just ends up fighting in every scene with no proper build-up. Will anyone even enjoy a story that's only comprised of fights?
There might be a few people out there who will.
How about... the good thing about being reincarnated as a hilly churl is that I only need to eat Sunsetias to become stronger.
Wow.
The reincarnation isekai story?
Oh my god.
Popular right now.
Oh my god. Oh god.
Isekai. What in the world is that? Also, why does it become stronger by eating Sunsetias?
Those are what we call tropes. Oh
Tropes?
my god.
Those fictional rules used to push the plot forward, yes? They're definitely effective in achieving a distancing
I never
effect.
knew such words even existed. I don't know what a trope is, but now I do.
Sorry. What is this distancing effect? However, this book doesn't explain how reincarnation correlates to becoming stronger. Such an illogical rule will affect the coherence of the story. Will readers really accept this?
How about this? I had to fight tooth and nail to get this in stock.
Oh, that's the latest volume of Onibudo! Now that's a rather normal title length. Oh, Kale, do you like this series? Yes, but I don't like it that much.
Uh-huh.
Madam, are you going to use this series as teaching material? Let me see. The dialogue flows quite well, but there are too many phrases here that I don't recognize. Third eye of perception, illusory mirror, and so on. Are these terms that are tied to tropes? I also thought those names were strange when I was reading them. It's impossible to derive the meaning of these phrases in isolation. Also, their morphological properties are quite pedestrian, really. Or did the protagonist purposely create these strange names to disorient their foes?
I think it's because such names are fancy or cool.
So there's no deeper purpose. Hi. It's quite hard to understand stories written these days. You're right. It's such a weird book. But you keep wanting to read the next page. Even the most popular book in Sumeru back then had greater depth than anything written today.
Most popular book back then?
Yes. A Bahumano researcher wrote it while researching folk legends. The plot had many twists. The world building was fantastic, and even the writing could withstand scrutiny. When it was still being published, many people in the academia were reading it. Even the sages back then all described the story as a timeless classic. The series must have concluded after so many years, right? Perhaps it's even more popular now.
Is there a book like that in Sumeru? I've never heard of such a thing before. What's the title?
It's called Tales of Shariar. Do you sell it here?
Tales of Shariar? I don't think I've heard of that before. When was it published?
About 100 years ago.
100 years ago? Are you pulling my leg? What sort of book can remain popular for 100 years?
The Legend of Antara is popular to this very day, isn't it? I just heard someone telling it a few days ago in a cafe. If an old story like that is still being shared, then Tales of Shariar must be even more popular.
Even if that is the case, I really don't carry that book here in my store.
What? Is that because of the academia's strict control over books in recent years? I can't believe they've allowed the people of Sumeru to become so uncivilized. How can they not know about the Tales of Shariar?
Tales of Shariar? Oh, wait. I think I heard an antique seller on the other end of Treasure Street mention that name before. I mean, it is a book from 100 years ago. Why don't you try asking for it there?
Tales of Shariar is considered an antique now? How could the Academia have let such an excellent work of literature be forgotten like this? Traveler, Kale, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Let's meet at the antique sellers.
Alright, let's go.
Madam, wait! Oh no.
What's wrong?
You asked me why I'm scared of Madame Farazan, right? It's not because I don't know how to respond to her kindness. It's because I'm afraid of that ancient language she researches. Because I can barely understand any of it. What if she uses ancient texts as teaching material?
Book's only 100 years old. Come on, I'm like 500 years old.
So, what if researchers from 100 years ago like to use ancient languages in their books? We've got to catch up to her!
Hold up. Let's see where we're going at.
Found it! The 5th volume of Tales of Shariar. Wow, you actually found it.
I never thought this book would ever get sold.
All right, that's our teaching material section.
Who the hell's the guy with the deep voice? Damn.
Analysis of classical texts. Can I take a look? Luckily, the language being used here isn't ancient at all. I can recognize a few words here and there. Huh? But why aren't there pictures in this book? As long as the writing is good, readers won't need any illustrations to imagine the scenes. Worry not. I shall thoroughly explain the difficult sections. You'll like this book. I know it. After all this time, I wonder if Aaliyah and Aziz ended up together. And who obtained the desert gem in the end? Sir, do you have the subsequent volumes of this series?
I don't think so.
Is that so? And here I thought I could finally read the ending. Never mind. I'll keep searching for the later volumes myself. If I'm to use it as a teaching material, it's better to start earlier in the series. Where are the first 4 volumes? Why aren't they all together?
I don't have those either. Actually, this is the only volume I have.
Is this series really that popular?
No. It's not popular at all. Rather, there's absolutely no demand for it.
No demand? Impossible. Back then, I'd come across at least 3 groups of people talking about it during a single stroll at the Academia.
Seriously? No one told me that this book was anything special when I first got it.
Where did you get this from? Can you still contact the seller?
I'm afraid not. This book was sold together with a whole bunch of antique furniture. I didn't even notice it initially. Otherwise, the Matra would have come knocking. Wait, is this book actually worth a lot? It can't be, right?
I'm afraid not.
That's impossible. No matter how strict the Academia was, there's no way Tales of Shariar could have fallen into such a state.
I do remember a passerby skimming through the book a few days ago. However, he simply sighed and left.
He sighed? Why would he react like that? Given the quality of Tales of Shariar, he should have been entranced after a single glance. I'm sorry. Traveler, Kale, please give me a moment. I'd like to look through this book first. Why is there another misunderstanding between Ali and Aziz? Also, why is there no mention of the Desert Gem at all? And a new character is introduced with no foreshadowing at all? Also, what are all these new names and terms? Is this really the Tales of Shariar I know?
Well, that passerby reacted in much the same way. It's Madar from the cafe over there. You know, the fellow who spends all day telling the legend of Antara. Since that's also a very old story, maybe he knows a thing or two about that, Tales of, whatever it's called.
Then let's go ask around at the cafe, huh? Oh, yes. Let's go.
I wonder if it is someone we know. A hotshot, maybe? I know someone who loves reading books. Ale Hatim! Are you there, boy? Hatim Boy! Nope, it's not Hatim Boy, it's someone else. Tur.
Another day, another empty room.
Excuse me? But are you Mada?
Yes! Are you here to listen to my story?
Well, we actually came to ask about something else.
I see.
Sorry.
It's fine. I'm used to it, more or less. So, how can this terribly unpopular storyteller help you?
Do you know about Tales of Shariar?
Huh? Tales of Shariar? Why, I can barely remember the last time anyone talked about it. My master always talked about how incredibly popular that book used to be. However, I tried reciting a few chapters of it at the cafe, and I found that it's even less popular than the Legend of Antara.
Your master?
Yes, the one who taught me how to be a storyteller. He said that Tales of Shariar was written by his master's master's master.
Oh shit.
He also said that this great-great-grandmaster was an academia researcher, and that even the sages liked the series. He wrote 4 volumes back then, and the reviews just got better and better. You couldn't find a single person in Sumeru who hadn't read his books.
And then? What happened next? Why doesn't anyone know about Tales of Shariar now?
Oh, it's hard to tell when it comes to trends. One day everyone likes stories like that, and the next day their tastes change completely. Instead of writing a proper ending, this great-great-grandmaster kept trying to extend the story. To tap into popular trends, he added a lot of tropes. Then, starting from the 5th volume, the reviews started to go downhill.
How could that be? Then what happened to Tales of Shariar in the end?
In the end, there's no ending. The great-great-grandmaster tried to write a few more volumes, following whatever trends were popular at the time, but the trends kept changing right as he published his books.
Wow, that sucks.
He got so infuriated that he stopped writing altogether and focused on his research instead.
What? So there's no ending? The readers didn't care?
By that time, only a very small number of people were reading Tales of Shariar. Anyway, my master probably exaggerated. How could a work possibly have been that popular? The only tangible thing my great-great-grandmaster left is the original draft of Legend of Antara. He also left behind many theses from his research phase. When my master talked about Legend of Antara, he'd even quote from those theses. My master is a much better storyteller than me. Even when we're telling the same story about Antara, he's always able to draw in a huge crowd. But even he won't recite Tales of Shariar due to its ever-changing writing style and its lack of an ending.
So, Antara's story is the one that lasted through the years.
Well, not even sages can definitively ascertain the quality of something like a story. In the end, only time can separate the classics from the fads.
Only time? Madame Farazan? It's been 100 years. Perhaps some things I once believed to be great aren't so after all.
You don't have to worry about that. It doesn't matter if it's a classic or a fad. What matters is that you like it.
Yeah! Master helped me find a lot of famous books at first. But in the end, I realized that I couldn't get into them. No matter how good those stories are, I can't improve my skills if I can't bring myself to read them in the first place. I think the best books for me are the ones I like. Huh. Indeed. That is true. Readers' interest in trends of a time are not things that are so easily predicted. What was popular 100 years ago could be completely forgotten in modern times. And yet, 100 years, as far as history is concerned, is but a blink of an eye. If Tales of Shariar hadn't chased after trends and instead stuck to its original style from start to finish, it might have stood some chance of gaining renewed popularity. No, even if that didn't happen, At least it would be a work that was true to itself.
Huh? Our conversation just got a lot more serious.
I don't really get what you're talking about, but it does sound sensible. Looks like I also have to hang in there and tell Antara's story well.
Should think about the present first.
How unseemly. I almost got carried away because of a single book. Well then, we should get back to the matter of our teaching material. It looks like we can't use Tales of Shariar now.
How about the Legend of Antara?
No, it's much too old. Kale, you found a book that you liked at the bookstall, yes?
Yes, but I don't really...
Then we'll use that book as our teaching material. Now that I think about it, using a book that you like is the most suitable choice for teaching you how to read. As for the academia, as long as we come up with an appropriate course name, we should be able to get away with this.
I propose the appreciation of popular literature or the analysis of popular literature.
My, it sounds like you've dealt with the academia before. Let's go with that. Now then, let's return to the book vendor in a bit and buy the latest volume of this Onibudo for Kale. But if I wish to use it as teaching material, I have to read it first.
Huh?
Speaking of which, other than third eye of perception and illusory mirror, I also espy some unfamiliar phrases from the reader's messages at the back of the book. Such things as, even if it reminds me of my dark history, I still can't help but be drawn in by the story. And the author has written all the things that I only dare whisper into a tree hollow. Why do people use dark history to refer to awkward or embarrassing memories? Is this some slang that was invented in the last century? If one of our learning objectives was researching linguistic changes over the past 100 years, it might make it easier to get these books approved as teaching material.
Oh, I can tell you what that's all about. Apparently, in their youth, some people used to imagine themselves as someone burdened by fate, fighting against the world, etc. But as they grew older, they started to become embarrassed by such memories. Some would write those fantasies into novels, while others would entrust such tales to tree hollows.
Lada? You know, I suddenly have the urge to hear a story about Antara.
Huh? Why so suddenly?
I think we can ignore the whole dark history thing just for now.
I knew it. There will always be people who love the golden oldies. Now, let me tell you all about the ancient hero, Antara.
Oh, that's nice. Chilling at a restaurant. I like that. Oh. Alright, this one's done. Oh, thank God it's done. Now it's time for this one. Okay, I don't want to play it anymore. I am bored to death. Anyways, thank y'all for watching. Bye-bye.